Hi, I'm Garland. We're going to do a walkthrough on this 2020 Montana High Country. This particular unit is a 295 RL. So we'll start with the door, go around the outside. Then once we have all the outside covered, we'll go inside, do the inside. So the first thing we've got here is your door. Typical RV door. You got your screen door that comes apart so it can be used separately from your regular door. It's on a friction hinge, so it stays put wherever you put it. The other thing is you've got these wonderful steps. Key thing about the steps are your door needs to be completely open in order for them to clear it going in or out. They're on a spring assist, so that makes them pretty handy to use. As you're pulling them down, it will give you some resistance, so it's not going to just come crashing down on you. While they're in this position, I want you to see that we have a pin on each side so that you can adjust these feet individually. They've got holes so that they can go up or down. So when you get to your campsite, if you happen to be sitting and it's not level, and your steps are banging every time you go in, or it's just not sitting solid for you, you can adjust these to accommodate for that problem. I'm going to leave this in the up position for a second to show you you have a remote propane hookup. And it is right underneath here. So it's a little quick connect, but it's really, if you don't know it's there, you might not ever find it. So it's behind those steps. So as we go on down this side of the wall here, you've got a double receptacle. It's right here underneath your main awning. Got a porch light up there, outdoor speakers. Then we come to your pass-through storage. Now, these compartment doors are going to be held up by magnetic latches. So it stays there in good shape. It's not going to just blow down with a little breeze. Then you've got your pass-through storage. Put the bodies in this side, you take them out the other side, the neighbors will never even know. You've got a light in here. You can set it so that it'll operate off of motion, or you can do it manually on and off. Also inside here, you want to see that you've got a signal outlet for TV and another power outlet out here. So if you wanted to put a TV out here either on the side or mount one of the brackets that you can put in the pass-through storage and pull out and turn for you, you've got signal availability for you there. Let's see, I think that's pretty much it. You can see that this is going to pull back. You got to give it some little strength. Slam latch. Got your propane tank on this side. Works just like any propane tank. This is on. Turn it to the right, that's off. The regulator that controls which tank you're pulling off of is on the other side. So we'll cover that when we get to the other side. Under here, you've got a storage space with a little clip to hold the door open for you so you don't have to keep it held up with your head or your shoulders. This area can be used to mount a generator. If you don't put a generator in there, obviously it's great for storage. Then from here, it's also easy to see your battery box connection. It accommodates 2 batteries, and you do have a battery disconnect here that's going to be for your inverter. You've got a residential style refrigerator in here, so there's going to be an inverter in this camper. This is just the other compartment that gets to your battery box. There'll be 2 batteries in there. Got a little light out here. If you back up here, you've got your 5th wheel hitch. You've got a little docking light here, and you have little eyebrow lights up here on the front nose. So the switches for that are inside on your main control panel. Watch your head on this slide out, and in this little compartment you have your front jacks and also your leveling system. This is the type that you put the power button on, it comes on and acknowledges that you're doing something with it. These up and down arrows here will be used to get your front jacks on and off. So that'll get you on and off your truck. It's telling me I've got a fault, so we'll have to check that out. But when you get off of your truck, you want to pull it forward enough so that the nose of the camper clears the back of your truck. And then you would hit auto level, and then your jacks are going to come down and level it up. The reason you want to have your truck out from in front of it is because it typically starts by lowering the nose of the camper, and that will usually hit the rails of your truck if it's sitting underneath there. So let me turn this crazy thing off. Okay. And you can fasten that for security with a key. Here's the other propane tank. Here's that little regulator that determines which tank you're going to pull off of. If you happen to have them both in the on position, whichever way this arm is pointing, that's the one it's going to pull off of. So right now it's pulling off of this one. If you push it the other direction, it's going to be pulling off of the other tank. It will automatically switch from one to the other. So be aware of that. I always tell people that so that they can keep one tank in the off position, one in the on position, and then no matter what time, day or night, that you run out of that one tank of propane, you know you've got a full tank left, and you know you've got to get one either replaced or refilled. So that's what's going on there. The other nice thing about your jack system and leveling system, this decal right here will walk you through everything. It'll walk you through getting it unhooked from your truck. It'll walk you through leveling it. It'll walk you through hooking it back up to your truck. The great news about that is it can all be done with this one decal. I can even do it instead of some big book about this thick. So that's a good handy thing, and it's right here next to the panel so that you can keep an eye on that while you're running the buttons. This is the other side of your pass-through storage. It just is held up with struts. You can look in here. One of the things you'd want to see is this little unit right up here. That's their inverter that we were talking about outside. There is one battery that's dedicated just to that, and the purpose of that is your refrigerator will not run off of propane like a typical RV refrigerator. It will only run off of electric. So that inverter is always soaking up charge as long as you're plugged into the wall or your tow vehicle. Charge will be going in there, and if you lose all power to this unit, that inverter will continue to operate your refrigerator for 72 hours. The refrigerator and a few outlets there in the kitchen area. This is a little quick connect hose for water. So inside your docking station, you can put that on and off here. It snaps in and out just like a quick connect water hose. You can put any kind of a head on it you want. You can do a garden hose head or a shower head. I'm just going to lay it there out of the way. So inside here you see that you've got all the connections for water. It's got your bypass for your hot water heater. You can winterize it through this outlet. This is your city water connection. So when you've got a hose on there, if you're going to go dry camping or someplace where you don't have a water connection, or you aren't sure if you're going to need water in your tank, you flip this little lever right here. Instead of normal flow, put it down here onto fill, and that's going to divert water from here into your freshwater tank. Then you've got your main battery disconnect here. So when you turn that off, it keeps anything from drawing charge from your batteries when it's sitting in storage, or if it's going to be sitting for a long time with no power coming into it. Instead of your battery running down, just do the battery disconnect. Then the key thing is to remember you've turned it off, so that when you get ready to use everything, you've got to have that turned back on. Also in here, you've got your main black and gray tank handles. That's for your bathroom. You got your hot and cold water drain lines. The last thing, let's see, wait a minute. You've got your hookup in here for TV, for cable or satellite. You've got this little grommet door down here that you can unscrew and take off so that you can run your hoses and your lines up and down there without having this big door hanging open for you. The last thing in here has a caution sign. And I know us guys don't ever pay any attention to that stuff until we've screwed something up. This is your black tank flush. The reason there's a caution sign on there is because you put a hose on there, turn the water on, and it goes into your black tank with a whirlpool action and pressure. And it's going to rinse everything out of that black tank. That's everything from your commode. The reason there's a caution sticker is it doesn't want you to turn that water on unless your black tank drain is open. It's going to go somewhere. If it can't get out the drain, most likely it's going to come right back up in the commode into your camper. Not pretty. And I've never met anyone who forgot more than once. So that's your docking station. You got here your hot water tank. It's a Suburban. It needs an anode rod, so your plug and anode rod is all one piece. This is how it starts out brand new. As the chemicals in the water interact with your steel tank, this thing takes care of any sulfur smell that might be coming from that. It gradually eats away at this thing until it gets down to about the size of a really ugly toothpick. Don't wait that long to replace it. Replace it about every 1 to 2 years, depending on how much you camp. So we're going to leave that here. The plug for it, it goes right here. Since this is a Suburban, it has a master on and off switch here. So before you go camping and are ready to use this, make sure that your master switch is on. Until that's on, the switches inside your camper for your heater elements won't do anything unless that's in the on position. Also in here is your water pressure release. It's a release valve. So when you're getting ready to drain this, instead of the water spitting and sputtering and spraying all over you, release the pressure in there first, and then the water will just drain out of there nice and smoothly. So we'll put this back on here. This is your furnace exhaust. A couple things to be aware of on that. When you're running that furnace, this will get hot enough to leave a mark. The other thing is there are certain insects and bugs that are addicted to sniffing propane, and they will climb in there to sniff that propane, and they love to build nests and screw up the function of your furnace. They also like to come out when you're sitting underneath the awning trying to relax and have a nice evening. Not pleasant. So we always urge people, get that screen, your furnace exhaust screen, put it on there. Keeps anybody from accidentally bumping it and getting burnt. Keeps those bugs and insects from getting in there in the first place. So that's that stuff. We come to this little door here. It says there's a gray tank handle in here, and sure enough, there is. So that's what's in there. And then this unit area here, if you ever were going to get a SantaCon unit for this camper, this is where they would be putting the mechanics and the hose and everything to make that work. SantaCon unit, for people who aren't familiar with what that is, it's like a blender for your commode. So that's where they would install that. Slide room. Seals are rubber. Like any rubber product, if they're out baking in the sun, they're going to get brittle over time. And as they do, that will start to impact the integrity of your seal. So we urge people, pay attention to those. There's a product called Slide Room Seal Lubricant. During the summertime, you want to hit that about once a month. It helps keep these nice and pliable and keeps your slide room seal in good shape. Also now right below all of this stuff is your sewer line hookup. It's a universal connection, so no matter what kind of hose or where you get it, it's going to fit on here. The hose will have teeth like this. They're going to go over these pegs. And then this is just your cap to keep it closed for when you're traveling. We'll go down this side. Try not to trip over anything. Okay, a fun thing that we want you to see is it's hiding back in here behind your spare tire bracket is a little drain valve. And that is for the water line that goes to your refrigerator. It's a residential style refrigerator, so it's got an ice maker in it and everything. That's where you would drain that water line from your residential refrigerator. This little doodad here is just a little air vent for your freshwater tank, so when you're putting water and things in there, it doesn't get an air pocket in it and cause you trouble. You got a detachable hose, detachable power cord. It's a 50 amp service, so it's got the three blades and a prong. So that's gonna need a 50 amp connection. The reason you have that is because it's prepared to operate 2 air conditioners. And you may need to make sure you get an adapter that will take it from 50 amp down to 30, because a lot of campsites do not have enough 50 amp outlets to go around. They're getting more and more, but you may want to be able to get it down there to 30 amp. The other thing you may want to do, you can get an adapter that takes it clear down to 110. So if you wanted to plug it into the side of your garage, the side of your house, it'll go clear down from 50 to 110. The key thing about that is to try to get what we call the dog bone style. Don't get those little flat plugs like this. I mean, they'll work for a short period of time, but it doesn't take long before those will start to overheat and they'll start to melt, or they'll start to smoke, or you not be able to get them unplugged, and then you've got a problem. So just spend a couple extra dollars and get the dog bone style, and then you're going to be just fine. This cord, I should tell you, is 36 feet long. Okay, coming around this corner, you do have a 2-inch receiver here with safety chain hookups, a 4-way electric plug. So a lot of times people will put a bike rack on here or a cargo rack. It's set up to maybe pull a light trailer that maybe would have a canoe or a kayak or something, but it's not built to pull a motorboat or a motorcycle, so just be aware of that. Up here you see right above the T in Montana is a blank for a backup camera. So if you ever decide to mount one, that's where it would go. It ties into those little lights up there for power, and then you would have like a wireless screen that goes with it that you can put on the dash of your tow vehicle or in the console, so you can see what's going on behind here. Got your ladder. It's rated for about 250 to 275 pounds. They like you to get up on top of the roof and look at the seals around your air conditioner and your vents. Check those at least a couple times a year. That helps keep your warranty in good shape. It's safe to do, just be careful doing it. And then from here, if we look right under here, you can see your spare tire and your bracket access to it. There's a little lift relay latch up here on the ends of this thing, so you can pull it out and slide your spare tire out. And then before we wrap up the outside, you've got your tires, you have your self-adjusting brakes, and you have easy lube axles. The little black flat circle there at each wheel, those will pop off with a flat-headed screwdriver, and then underneath there is a grease zert. So you want to put 1 to 2 shots of grease in there per year. That's typically all you need to do. I always try to encourage people that occasionally either you or have someone pull a wheel, just check your wheel bearings, make sure everything's working the way it should. It's just smarter to do that than to be looking in your rearview mirror and seeing smoke roll out of there from your axles sometime. So that's the outside. You got 2 awnings on this unit. Each has its own light switch, and it each has its own in and out switch. So those are on your control panel. We'll point them out when we get inside, but it's pretty simple. You push the out end of the button to run them out. You push the end of the button to run them in. So with that, we're going to go inside. All right, we're inside. So right inside the door. First thing you come to is the end of this cabinet. You got on the wall a couple light switches. They do your little overhead light here, and they do the little lights above your kitchen island, so that you don't have to be working in the dark. So like as soon as you come in, you've got that. you also have a little motion light right here on these steps that anytime you approach those steps, it will kick on. So like coming in the door even, that'll kick on so that you're not just in here breaking your neck in the dark. So this is your vent fan control. It's in the ceiling above your kitchen area. You turn the power button on, it starts the fan, it raises the lid, and then you can adjust the speed of the fan. You can raise the lid or lower it without the fan running at all. And then you can close it with the same buttons. But no matter how fast you get the fan going, it will not pick the camper up off the ground. So you don't have to worry about that. It does have a little rain umbrella icon on it, which tells you it's got a rain sensor. So if a rain comes along while you're out hiking and the vent's open, you don't have to come tearing back here to put it down. It will close automatically. So that's going to turn it off. You have a digital thermostat. You've got two in here. This one will run everything, your main air conditioner and your main furnace. So when you first touch it, it lights up. Touch it again, it's going to go to fan. You can put it high, low, or auto. It'll take you to air conditioning. You can set your temperature higher or lower. It'll take you to furnace. And then the next thing is off. So wherever you put it and leave it, that's what it's going to do. The light will go out, and whatever mode you put it in, you'll hear it kick on or kick off if you happen to be turning it off. Inside this door right here, you've got all of your control and monitor stuff. Up here, you actually have on this unit heated holding tank system. So you got a heater for your freshwater tank, your gray water tank, and your black water tank. So if you're in temperatures that are going to be freezing or below, you can turn on those heaters and it'll keep your water tanks from getting iced up. This little button operation here is for your ceiling fan. It's a great big ceiling fan. I just turned it on. You can see it spinning. You can adjust the speed in here. You can also change the direction of it. It'll go forward or reverse, which means it's either going to pull air up or it's going to push air down. So you can do all that from this panel right here. Next thing you've got down here is your monitors. You got a battery button that tells you the battery is full. See, when you push on that, these lights come up. Freshwater tank's empty, black 1, gray 1, gray 2. So you have all that information right here so that you know whether or not you need to dump your tank or if you've got plenty of room in there to continue to put more water in it. It also lets you know if you're using water out of your freshwater tank, how much you have left in there. It'll show you empty, 1/3, 2/3, and full. Up here you got a little fault button. That's a little light, so if you've got your gas heating element on in your hot water tank, if it has trouble getting gas or getting lit, or if it runs out of gas and you happen to have your gas heating element on, that light's going to come up and tell you it's got a problem. So speaking of that, you see here everything is labeled so well. So your hot water heater, electric or gas, you can do one or the other or both. You got your water pump button if you're going to use water out of your freshwater tank. And then you've got lights down here and there lit. It says awning light, porch light, living room light. This is up above your kitchen, like it's a little upper accent light. So that's what all of those things are. Then you've got your two awning buttons that we talked about outside. So it's showing extend or retract. Extend or retract. So that's how those work. And then here are your slide room buttons. So again, same thing. You hit the out button, it's going to run it out. Hit the in button, it's going to run it back in. So everything is right there, and it's they did a great job labeling everything for you. It's not always that way. Sometimes you're just guessing. So you should be happy about that. While we're right here going over all these things, let me point out your breaker switches and fuses. Everything is labeled, which is a plus, because sometimes they come from the factory not labeled, and then you're like just guessing what does everything, and you got to figure it all out. But they have actually put all that on here for you. They're just typical auto fuses. You don't have to go somewhere and get some special fuses for here, but I always do tell people to take a look, see how what the sizes are in there, and get a few extras to just have on hand in case you would ever need them. So we're just going to go down this wall so we don't forget anything. So here you've got your dining area, you got your chairs, you got your table. It's got a leaf that slides out, this back. These lights above your dining table are the little button push, so those come on and off. You got your typical blinds here. They're the standard side kind that you pull down and release it like this, like the kind you had when you were kids at home. So that's what you got going on there. As we come back here to your recliners, these are electric recliners. You push this button, it's going to run it out. They're wall huggers. They'll go down pretty flat. You can fall asleep easily in front of the ball game or a movie. Got your little cup holders in the center. It's the height of taking it easy. You don't have to pull a handle. You don't have to do anything. Just push the button. These lights are on a new kind of light switch. It's this little doodad right here. You tap it, and it turns them on or off. Once they're on, if you just put your finger on it and hold it, it's going to dim them. And if they're dim and you put your finger on it and hold it, they'll get brighter. But if you tap it, either way, it's going to turn it on or off with just a tap. So you put your finger in and hold it, you can make the lights go darker or brighter. Both ends of your sofa have USB ports and double 110 outlets. You also have a light switch on this end that runs these lights that are right overhead here. This folds out into a full, it's better than a camper queen. It's probably 60 by 80. So you take the back cushions off, just raise up the seat and it's going to come out and set up for you. We probably won't open that up because it's not that hard. Even I can do it. So you have your TV over here, runs off of a remote. We're inside a building here, and it's still picking this up off of the antenna. It changes channel for you. Does everything the remote does on a TV. This one, cool, fun channels. Anyway, we'll turn it off, but you need to know that this will pull out of here and turn any direction. It's also handy because you can get back here and put attachments to it. If you want to hook up an HDMI unit or a game or anything like that, you can get to all the attachments. Back here along this wall, you can see you have power outlets. You've got 4, and then you also have TV signal outlet up there. Right now it's hooked onto the one for the antenna. The other one will give you cable or satellite signal input. So we'll put that back in there. You got storage up here that goes clear out to the outside wall. Down here you've got your sound system. Does AM, FM radio, memory stick, Bluetooth, headphones. Let's see what else. It's got sound zones. And you can run everything on that. Oh, okay, sorry. It's also got the CD and the DVD slot here. It's set up to play movies on this TV. It runs off of this remote right here. All those buttons, it does all those things. You can do them with that remote, or you can do them on here. The nice thing to know about this is it will read your signal through that glass. So you can see that it will come on, and it will also go off right through the glass. So you don't have to come over here and open the glass. If you're sitting in your recliner and you want to change the channel or listen to the radio, all you got to do is do that. This takes the place of your chainsaw and your axe because it runs your fireplace. So it will come on, it'll run it. You can adjust the flame, different colors and different brightness. You can also adjust the fan. This thing will heat up this unit about 30 to 35 degrees.
You can just turn it on for looks only, or you can, like I said, put heat out of here and it will really take the chill out of the air. If for some reason you lose this or the battery goes out, there are buttons on here that you can run everything right here on the unit itself. And then, like any heating type of an element, if it's been on for a little bit, when you turn it off, you will hear the fan continue to blow until it's cooled down to safely shut off. So all of these remotes and anything else that's loose here in the kitchen will be in a top kitchen drawer. People always wonder, what happened to my keys? Where did the remotes go? Top kitchen drawer. Okay, so we'll look back here. You got storage on both sides of your stove, both sides of your microwave. It's a convection oven, convection microwave. It's great. It's got all sorts of things. You've got you've got your light for your surface down here. It also has a vent. So you got vent fan high, vent fan low, and vent fan off. So that does all of those things. And then they've got a really nice new stove models. These grills will come off of here for service or for cleaning. You got your buttons here that you put this on, shows the flame, turn the sparker, it's going to light. The little icon right here on the front shows you which burner you're talking about. Once you have it on, then you can adjust your flame higher or lower. You've got a light out here that helps. It's great night light, or it just helps you see what you're doing here if your lights aren't on and you're trying to get something done. The other thing is that your oven lights off of the sparker also. You put this little flame right here at the point, hold that in, turn your sparker, and it's going to light your pilot light in the oven. Once the pilot light is lit, you release this, and then you can turn it and set the temperature. It'll go up to 500 degrees, and then also it'll go to broil. You always want, obviously, to have this open when you're using your stovetop. It makes a really ugly smell if you try to run the stovetop with this down. So you have all that. You've got 2 outlets back here, so you've got a total of 4 110 outlets right here in this part of your kitchen counter space. You've got a little light switch here that will do your little under counter accent light. You have outlets. Let's see, you've got 2 on the front of your kitchen island. Below that, you've got your carbon dioxide monoxide sensor. That does not run off of a battery. It's hardwired into your electrical system. So it's got a fuse dedicated to that carbon dioxide monoxide sensor. They're good for 5 to 7 years. When that one starts to go weak, it'll chirp at you and let you know. There's a button on there to push to make it be quiet. Take the 2 screws out, pull it off. There's 2 wires in there. If there aren't couplers on it, go ahead, you cut the wires, get your new smoke. Sure, now I'm just talking out of my ears, aren't I? Anyway, get your new carbon dioxide monoxide sensor. Put the 2 wires back together, put a coupler on them so you can undo them again in the future if you need to, but anyway, put it back together and you've got another 5 to 7 years of your carbon dioxide monoxide sensor. So you've got your sink top here, you've got all these drawers that I was telling you about that are going to have all of your loose things. Your keys are going to be in here, your remotes are going to be in here. Also in here is this big envelope. It's got all the manuals for the camper and all of your appliances. Underneath your sink, you got a wastebasket, and you also have sink covers. Got your faucet, pulls out, spray or stream, whichever way you hit the button. This is a great deep sink and this type of hose, so if you're trying to fill a big kettle or a tall glass of iced tea or lemonade or whatever, that you didn't used to be able to do that with these RV sinks, but now they've made it really easy to use kettles and pitchers, and it's great. Let's see, I think that's everything in this area. Just got your big storage drawer under your oven. So that brings us to your new Samsung refrigerator. So you see you got a red sticker up here and a blue sticker. That's telling you that this side of the refrigerator will keep everything hot. This side will keep everything cold. You know that's not correct. If you haven't figured out by now that I have a sense of humor, then you haven't been paying attention. These are just little stickers, so when these guys put this thing together, it was telling them this is the top end of this handle, and this is the top end of this handle. I don't know why they thought they had to do that, but they did. So, here's your refrigerator. You got all your controls for it here. This is for the freezer side, this is for your refrigerator side. You can adjust the temperatures. It comes from the factory so that it will try to get to 0 for the freezer and 37 to 38 for the refrigerator portion. You got your crisper drawers. You got manuals for it besides the ones that are in big envelope. The other thing to be aware of is this little doodad right here. So you got, your ice makers down here, all sorts of space. But when you're traveling, you close the doors. Well, I guess I'll do this while you can see what's going on. There's a little inlet right there. You spin this in, and this is going to catch the bottom drawer and the 2 doors and keep them from flying open and shut when you're going down the road. So I'm going to put that in here, but just be aware that that's there and that's what it's for. So it threads in here, keeps all these closed while you're going down the road. Got your pantry. Motion light came on, so that's what's going on in there. Again, just more storage here. So this is a catalog. I will also put this, well, why don't we just do it right here. So anything that's loose will be in a drawer. Otherwise, when you get where you're going, all those things that were laying up here loose will be someplace, and you'll be searching for them for who knows how long. Got your keys here. You got door keys. One does your deadbolt lock, one does your latch, and then these do your compartment doors outside. Again, these will be in your top kitchen drawer. So with all of that said, the next thing we're going to come to is your central vac. So you can turn it on and off right here. You also, this is where you change the bag. So the key thing here, it comes with an extra bag. Sure it does, but then you got to get it fastened back up. There we go. I always try to remind people, just like your sweeper at home, don't throw away that last bag until you get the number or the letter off of it so that you know which ones to replace it with. So all of the hoses and attachments for your central vac system are underneath your master bed. So next thing we're going to do is check out the bathroom area. So in here you've got light switch on and off. You've got your vent fan. You manually open the lid and you've got a little power button there that turns the fan on. I usually will talk to people because a lot of times you like to be able to leave this vent open whether you've got the fan going or not. Get one of those max air vent covers for it, at least for this one. And that way, even if you're traveling down the road, you can have that up just for ventilation and things through your camper while you're out hiking or driving down the road. You're able to leave that lid open. You got medicine cabinet space here, GFI plug here. So this plug, along with a few other plugs and outlets, are running off of this GFI plug. So if something stops working, like if a TV stops working or something like that, before you start worrying about a fuse or a breaker switch, check this GFI plug. Just make sure it doesn't need to just be reset. So again, great space in here, drawers, doors. In here around the corner, you've got a little bit of a linen closet space above the commode. You do have a porcelain commode in here. Like any RV commode, it's not going to have a big bowl full of water. You push the pedal part way down, and then these little vent holes will let more water in. And then when you have enough water in it, you push it the rest of the way, and it flushes. So here's your big shower space. Got a little latch out here to keep these doors from banging open and closed when you're going down the road. It's great space in there. There's actually room to take a shower once you get in there. This is also a fun way to play tricks on people that are in the shower. If you do that, however, please remember, paybacks can be really rough. So just be aware of that. But do keep that close when you're going down the road. It keeps those things from banging open and shut and maybe breaking. Also, in this nice big bathroom space, you've got huge linen closet space. Or if you ever decided to put a washer and dryer in, this is the area that you would put it in. You've got the plumbing and the power for it here in this compartment. Obviously, this is a double entry bathroom. You can get in and out of it from the bedroom space. You can also get in and out of it from the hall space. So to make life easier for Samantha and I, she's going to go out that door, I'm going to go out this door, and we'll meet in the bedroom. So when you walk in your bedroom door, right here, immediately you've got a light switch. And you have your second thermostat. This thermostat runs your second air conditioner. Let's see, this little thing in the ceiling here is a Wi-Fi box. And you've got your dresser here. You also, along this wall, you have signal outlets for TV, along with power outlets. Got your typical blind for up and down. Stops wherever you want it to stop. This is an exit window. All of them work the same. They've got this kind of a handle. You just lift it up out of there, push it out. If you want to just use it as a window and have a screen for nice ventilation, great. If you're trying to get out that window, you push this all the way out, grab this little red handle here on the screen, rip it out of the way, and your space to get out that window is there. It's a long drop, so hopefully you won't ever have to use it. Dresser space. Great space over here. You got closet space on both sides, more dresser space here with big drawers. You've got double outlet again here, USB ports, again blind that comes clear down and covers this little area. Should fold, there you go, it should be right in that track on both sides. There we go. So that's your great big window. Let's see if there's anything over here to tell you about that we don't already see. I think that's pretty much it. In the ceiling here, you can see this air conditioner unit. It's more of a typical air conditioner unit. I think this one is 13,500 BTU. It's got the cold air dump feature, so if you open these, it's just going to dump everything right out of here. When the more you close them, the more it forces out the ceiling vents. No matter which air conditioner unit you have on, you will get air conditioning throughout the entire coach. However, whatever area that unit that you're running is in, it will get a little more there. So if you got both of these on, that's great. If you got a 50 amp service coming to your camper, you can run them both without a problem. If you've only got 30, then you only can run one. But it will help you get air conditioning throughout the coach, no matter which unit you're running. So just be aware of that. And then you got two little flat spots here that you can pull, and your filter is inside here. Around the Midwest, you know, maybe change it 2 or 3 times a year. If you're going to be someplace like in Florida, Texas, Arizona, where there's a lot more dust and debris in the air, you probably change it a lot more frequently than that, maybe once every couple months. So that's your air conditioner there. The other one is a Whisper Quiet air conditioner, and so it's all mounted on the top. You don't have this hanging down inside your camper. So I promised you there were things under your bed. I think it's all of your attachments and hoses for your central vac system. So there you go. There's also great storage underneath here, and underneath that plywood base, there's a lot of mechanicals and things for this slide room. Those reading lights are the little button push style. You got a double outlet on this side of the bed. You have another double outlet down here. And I thought for sure there might be another one over here. But I do not see one over here. So, there may not be. There's not a double outlet over here. So, 2 over there, 2 down there, and then there isn't one on this side. I think that pretty much covers this unit. So that's pretty much, if you get any Montana high country, this should cover pretty much any of them. So if you have any questions, however, feel free to call us. We can usually walk you through whatever's going on with you, your first time or 2 out camping, and we're happy to do that. So please enjoy it. Thank you.